We Got This Africa is an April Communications production, proudly brought to you by Fritol. Fritol, you deserve a life of goodness. When a child is born, oftentimes all of their attention and care is given to the mother and the baby. But what about the father? Do men also need support and care when they have babies? Today on We Got This Africa, I sit with two men, Gigi and Yao, and they share their experiences as postpartum dads. You're welcome to the show.
We got this. We got this.
I was sitting at the Peduasi Valley Resort and a man randomly walked up to me and said, "Nah, I've been watching We Got This Africa on TV, and you and your girls are always talking about how childbirth affects the woman, and the woman this, and the woman that. Is it only the woman who has the child? A child is made by two people, and perhaps you should lend your attention to the changes that occur in a man's life, his social life, his finances, his emotional life, and so on, after the baby comes." And I said, "How does this affect you?" It's a woman who has the baby at the end of the day. He said, "You know what? Invite men onto the show and ask them and see if they have something to say." And so today I am doing just that. Yeah, Gigi, does the arrival of a baby affect the man in any way?
It does.
It does?
Yes, it does.
How?
In so many ways. I mean,
First of all, does your wife know you're here?
she knows.
So you're not going to get in trouble?
Maybe.
Okay, how?
So, for example, when a baby comes in, I mean, you'll be sharing the bed with the baby. I mean, that's one thing.
Okay.
Yes. I mean, with us, the baby is mostly sleeping in the middle and all that. It reduces privacy. That's one. And I mean, you're thinking about the morning crying, the dawn crying, the feeding. I mean, you are going to work. You are coming back. You have to get some rest. Pass me the bottle. I mean, I remember when he got to a point, had to ship her to her mother's place. So yeah, it does affect the man also. It does affect the man. Yeah. Because I see you're being very measured in what you say, and I understand. How about you, Gigi? Do you agree?
Certainly, it does. Because I remember when we were expecting our baby boy. In fact, when I knew it was a boy, I was very happy and looking forward to it.
Okay.
But I had no idea the aftermath, what it's going to throw at me.
What's the aftermath?
So, baby came. Then I noticed my sleep had to be disrupted.
Okay.
You sleep, you wake up, you sleep, you wake up, you sleep, you wake up. And the next morning I have to go back to work. Go back to work and come. In fact, it changes everything in the house. I think I was just mentioning the fact that you used to sleep with your wife maybe in your arms. Now somebody else has come and the person has to sleep in the middle. You put the person in the cot, crying, bring the person back in the middle. And with time, you notice maybe the attention is all on the baby. For me personally, at a point in time, I have to talk to my wife that, in fact, this thing is becoming too much now. It's like I don't matter anymore. Everything is the baby, and nobody cares about me. So it was a discussion we had, and she least expected I would be feeling that way. So it does affect us in a lot of ways.
How when you say all the attention was on the baby, you mean in terms of what?
In fact, everything revolves around the baby. So at a point in time, in fact, for me, I was the kind of person that I was used to do everything on my own. So at the initial point of marrying, my wife had to talk to me to allow her into my life. So she started doing certain things for me. But when baby comes back, I have to go back to
taking care of yourself.
Exactly.
Did you think that, well, my wife has just had a baby? I mean, we've had a baby, but of course, my wife more than me. So it's okay for her not to be able to give me the attention that she used to give me. Do you ever think of it that way? Or you felt, you know what, all the attention is now on the baby and my wife, and nobody cares for me anymore?
Now, let me just say this. When you start something, and it's not happening anymore, it becomes very difficult. For example, maybe before you got married, you talk, you chat, you do this, you come home. For me, when I come home, like then when we had the child, when I come home, it's like the attention is on the child. You're not able to talk to her. You're not able to have any discussion.
Does she notice you when you come in?
She does notice, but it gets to a point whereby all the attention is on the child.
What kind of attention do you need?
I mean, you've come from work, you need to chat, how's your day going, or how did your day go, the things she used to do, but it's like the baby is crying, I had to bath the baby.
You were bathing the baby?
No, she had to bath the baby, I have to put the baby to sleep. By the time everything is done, then she's obviously tired. You also have to sleep and get up for work for the next day, So it's like those things like that you come home, probably there's no food, then you have to go looking for food, either you're buying, all those things changes, and it's a problem.
What's the biggest thing you miss about your relationship with your wife before the baby came?
Sleeping on the bed together without sharing with anyone.
Yeah. You?
I think we used to sleep with her in my arms, but I don't remember the last time we slept that way again.
How old is your baby?
He's 3.5 years.
3.5 years?
Yes.
That's a grown child.
Yeah.
And you and your wife don't cuddle anymore?
No. If you put him on a different bed, he'll wake up and come back.
So now you're forever sleeping with your wife?
In fact, more with my son than my wife.
Where does your wife sleep?
On the same bed.
But you cuddle with your son?
Yeah.
And your wife sleeps somewhere else?
Yes.
So I guess that has affected your romantic life with your wife?
Really?
Do you still have a romantic life with your wife?
Maybe when they're in school.
When they're in school? So that's in the afternoon?
Yeah. Because I remember there was a time that we put them in the room, and actually they slept in our room, and then I carried them into their room. It was around 9, then they were just banging on the door, daddy, 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 So it's like, Ceci is 4 years, Amaris is 7, and they are still sleeping in the room with us.
They won't go?
No.
You have the same situation?
He won't go anywhere.
Has it affected your romantic life with your wife?
Yes, it does.
Do you get any alone time with her?
Unless maybe it's something we have to plan for. It doesn't happen randomly. So maybe Saturdays or Friday I have to take him to my sister's, and when he gets to bond with the cousins,
okay,
and we can have that whole weekend off. Yes, we can have that weekend for
ourselves. You have to schedule it?
Yes.
So if something happens and then the cousins are not available,
it's
then
around, so that weekend is out.
That's it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I see. Is it something you think about? Like, do you sit down and think that, okay, before we had a baby, this was my house. I shared it with my wife or with my partner. But now I feel like a stranger here. Like, I'm not part of what's going on. So even when you have money, the first thing you want to do or use the money for would probably be towards the child, less for you. This is something women actually say. That whenever they have money, they think first, what does a child need? Is it the same for men?
Yes. I was discussing it with my wife. I was weeks ago. I was like, I don't buy anything for myself. You are thinking about school fees. You are thinking about what you are going to eat. You are thinking about, right now we are in November now. I mean, definitely in January, you're supposed to be paying school fees. If you have any money right now, you have to be saving towards it. Obviously, hardly do the women save towards school fees, which is true.
I'm not going to say anything.
So it's
I'm
like
not going to say anything.
your expenses become some way. You're being very careful what you buy. You're being careful what you do, how you spend, and all those things, because you know that you have other financial obligations to meet. With the child.
Okay.
When they were young, I used to fight with her because of the diapers.
Why?
Because you're always buying diapers.
Because the baby always needs diapers.
You can put a pack of diaper in the bag to school bag and it's finished. You don't know what they are doing with it. In a week, you are buying diapers.
What do you think they are doing with it?
I don't know. I don't know. So it got to a time, and that was one thing I was so happy about, because around about a year, roughly to 2 years, we put them off the diapers. And that was one thing I was so proud about with my wife, because she tried with that, and that was one of the expenses that went off, and I was really happy about.
Okay. Are you spending your money?
I don't think so. I don't think so, honestly. My wife, I remember my wife often tells me, You're not buying anything for yourself. You're not doing anything for yourself. She'll do so. So she's the one that is able to prompt that and maybe take from me to spend on myself. Maybe she's the one that does that.
Now, this is something a lot of women who come on this show talk about, postpartum depression. A lot of women suffer postpartum depression. And one of the things that happen during this time is that the man suffers it too, or the man suffers the consequences of the woman's depression. So outbursts, the woman's mood swings after the baby comes, sometimes bouts of anger and flaring up. Did any of you experience this with your wives?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, what was your experience?
For me, I think it starts right from the pregnancy.
Right from the pregnancy?
Yeah,
the
mood swings and everything. She just changed completely. The next day she's angry, she's talking, everything, as if I have changed. Meanwhile, to me, I haven't changed. So at a point in time, I have to call my dad and say, this is the situation. And my dad said, well, apologies. He didn't tell me that, okay, this is what happens when a woman gets pregnant.
What exactly did your dad say?
Okay, he spoke to me about the fact that when a woman gets pregnant, her hormones and everything changes about her. So sometimes when she's quick-tempered or when she says something, you, the man, have to bear in mind that, okay, my wife is pregnant and it's changed and there's a lot of things going through her body. So at least that understanding got me a bit reserved. So now if she says something, it's not everything I take seriously. When I see the mood swings, I don't see them. So at least that part from my dad helped me. Then we got onto when the baby came. I think for my first son, it was fine. It was okay. And I think just a year after she took seed again, we were happy about it. Somewhere down the line, about 5-6 months, we lost the baby.
I'm so sorry.
Then we waited until last year, November. Last year, November, she went to labor. She said she would deliver herself. So we went through the process, then she gave birth, and the baby died before.
Oh, dear Lord.
Arriving. Then after that, she herself suffered they call postpartum hemorrhage.
Yeah, hemorrhage.
She was bleeding heavily. In fact, she was almost gone. After the whole thing, our doctor himself has to go to church and give a Thanksgiving offering. And for me personally, that night, I understood what David said. I walked through the valley of the shadow of death.
How was the experience for you?
I was like, you see when a rain beats the fowl, you see how the fowl comes out
shaking.
Exactly. I couldn't pray again at a point. I called my pastor. He was helping us to pray. They spent about a week or two in the hospital. Then when we got home, mind you, this incident happened about 5 months after my dad passed away. And my dad and I were very close. So I was kind of dealing with my dad's demise. Then hoping maybe when baby comes, I'll take solace in baby. The baby is dead. My wife almost dead. But when we came home, all the family people, everybody that comes around and things, all the attention was with my mom, with my wife. And I also was expected to provide strength for my wife. Church members and family members, when they come, everybody just talk about my wife and things and how I should support it. Meanwhile, the loss, I feel like, at a point in time, I feel like the loss is for the two of us. It's the two of us that are suffering the loss. It's not just my wife. Okay, well, she almost lost her wife, but at least I was also involved in it. And it took a very long time for we have to go and see the psychologist on a couple of occasions. So that aspect helped. The psychologist will focus. Well, the psychologist that made me feel a bit better because she would ask me, are you okay? What about you? So when she put the conversation with my wife, then she would turn to me and say, what about you? How are you taking it? So it was the help of the psychologist that made it. So it happens to men. We also go through a lot of...
Were you depressed by it?
I was trying to put myself strong.
You had to figure it out by yourself?
Yes. I had to be strong.
Was your wife at any point comforting you while you were comforting her?
It was more from me to her.
Did you hope that she would see that you're also struggling?
Yeah, she does acknowledge it sometimes. Yeah,
okay.
She does acknowledge it.
Have you guys talked about it?
Yeah, we spoke. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of the times.
Okay. Yeah. So how is it now?
For now, I think this month, 30th will be exactly 1 year. I can say we've almost gone past that.
So you've gone past that.
Yeah. I can say so.
Do you want to have more children?
She's scared.
Are you scared?
In fact, I'm scared too. Honestly, I'm scared. When I think of the episode and everything, God, baby was fine, pregnancy was fine, everything was fine until that last minute. I at least expected that in the split of minutes, everything will change and so sudden to the point of losing 2 people. So I always have it at the back of my mind, okay, so we spent, mind you, that was within the corona period. So we can't go to the hospitals, we have to go to the doctor's private hospital, and everything was private, so the expenditure and everything, then baby comes and I have to go and bury baby.
You had to bury the child?
Yeah.
Alone?
Okay, with the help of my pastor and one brother.
Oh, that must be difficult.
Yes. So that episode keeps playing in my mind. That they delivered a baby from hospital and went straight to cemetery to go and bury the baby. It keeps playing.
Immediate?
Yes, immediate. The following day. No, that same day. Because it started on the 30th of November. Got to the hospital around 2 p.m. Then the labor started through. So at about 11, 12, that's when she delivered. And they told us the baby is dead. Just dumped her. Then we were also losing her. So I think she has to shift to her everything throughout the night until late about 9, 10 that way. The pastor came and we took the baby to go and bury the baby.
And you didn't see a therapist after this?
It was, I think, 2 or 3 days after that.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And all those times, my wife was still in the hospital. So I come back home. In fact, I couldn't sleep.
So who was taking care of your first child then?
He was with my sister.
So you were home alone?
Yes. All alone in the house.
You didn't ask somebody to come and be with you?
It never even crossed my mind. But most of the time, I couldn't sleep. So maybe I would leave the hospital late, get home maybe around 1, 2. You won't be able to sleep. A lot of thoughts running through your mind. Then by morning, I have to go back to the hospital. We hit water, take something. And then I think on the second day, her mom and the sister came around to help.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yes. So you see, we also go through a lot.
Yeah. I'm so sorry about that.
Thank you.
It's not something we think about. I mean, do you guys feel like you are under pressure to be strong? Yes. Like you're under pressure to be a man? And so you just bottle it up, and then no matter what's happening, your wife is going through stuff. It's probably affecting you too, but you want to be strong about it.
You have to be strong.
Do you have to be?
You have to be strong.
Why?
Because you cannot be weak before her.
Why?
Because, she's looking up to you. You know, women generally are the ones who always want to be pampered. They always want, that sort of thing.
Do you want to be pampered?
Of course.
Does your wife know that?
Well, we've spoken about it. We have, it doesn't come all the time, but you just overlook certain things.
You overlook it?
Yeah.
So you're okay without it?
If it comes, fine. If it doesn't, fine. Yeah.
We move.
Yeah, because if you want to think about it, you're going to break yourself down. You're also going to break her down. Then it's going to bring a lot of problems between the two of you. So as a man, you just have to be strong. You overlook it. And like you said, we move.
Wow. Today I'm hanging out with men on We Got This Africa, and this is our episode on how childbirth affects the man also. Stay tuned.
Can you feel over your face? We got this. Can you feel over your face? Can you feel over your face? We got this. Can you feel over your face?
We're all guilty of paying very little attention to men or giving men support when a baby comes. Congratulations, and that's it. But all of the attention, all of the care is often on the woman. And yes, we like it, we enjoy it because we just, produce the whole human being and we expect that all of the attention will be on us. But about a week ago, I had a very rude awakening when a man walked up to me and said, nah, ask the men what they go through. So today, I'm doing just that. Yeah, what has been the most difficult experience that you have had with yourself, with your wife, your relationships, your family, or your money, or whatever, since your baby arrived?
I mean, that's during the pregnancy.
Before?
That's one. That's
okay.
Before the pregnancy. That we had to be moving from Accra to Tema. Because when she got pregnant, we were trying, then you are young. We didn't have a lot of people talking to us. So you're looking for hospitals that you are very careful, you don't have issues with, and someone introduced us to the doctor. I mean, he worked at Kolibu, but had his private hospital in Tema. So you're moving from Accra to Tema. I mean, anytime that she has to go for her checks, And I remember those days when I get so frustrated because she didn't like needles. So just to take her blood or any sample, we could spend about an hour to about 2 hours in the hospital, I mean, outside that, then we spoke, and then I was, young as we were trying to manage our finance and everything. Then out of the blue, she's not going to push. And I go like, she wants to do CS. Then we ask for the CS price. Then it's like very expensive, Then you have to start saving towards that again. We have the CS and everything, and then after we have to pay. I think we worked out we had to pay a lot of money, and then her mood swings, like he said. One time we're sleeping around 2 a.m. She's like, she wanted to eat pizza. And I was like, what am I going to get pizza for you at 2 a.m. in the morning? One time I had to go and get her food. I came and she was like,
she won't eat.
She wasn't.
How do men take that thing?
I mean, I looked at her and I was like, then at a point, like I said, you just overlook a lot of things. Now you just overlook a lot of things. You just have to overlook a lot. If not, you will fight, And then I didn't understand with the hormones and all those things, Until later I started reading on it and I noticed that, when they are in that sort of situation, they have this.
Did she have any flare-ups?
Oh, yes. Oh, we used to fight.
You used to fight?
We used to fight.
What about?
Oh, we used to fight. Petty things. We used to fight. A lot. So it got to a time I told her, you know what? Especially when I come home and I don't get food and all those things, because it's like you're driving through traffic, you're expecting, you get me, you have to. I mean, the pregnancy too was weighing on her. So it got to a time I was like, you know what? Just concentrate on yourself. When it comes to the food, I'll look for food if I come home. And truth be told, as of now, it's changed that because I eat out a lot and eat at home. All because of this.
Yeah.
So it's all those things, and it's a bit frustrating.
I can imagine.
It's a bit frustrating.
Do you guys talk about this amongst yourselves as guys, like male friends? Do you talk about these things, or you keep it to yourself?
It hardly comes up for this.
For me, sometimes. I mean, when you're sitting with the boys, sometimes it comes up and we talk about it. I mean, that was like.
Do you have shared experiences, or it's just you ranting?
Some of them do. I was with some friends. Was it 2 or 3 days ago, and he started speaking up because of something. Someone just passed the comment here, and I was like, wow, I'm also experiencing the same thing, And he was saying the same thing, that the way he and his wife are not able to relate again because of kids and all those things. And I was like, wow, people go through a lot. It's just like we don't speak up. Like,
what exactly did he say?
Oh, in part of the spending more time with the wife, acting like what I'm trying to say, Yes, he's like, it's not there anymore, and it's like what they used to do before, it's like it's not the same, and sometimes he tells me that it pushes him to do things outside, but again, he's scared because he wouldn't want to go and get another person pregnant, so you just have to act tough. I mean, as a man, that's how we are told men are created, to be strong.
Do you agree you're supposed to be strong?
Do I agree? Maybe 50-50, but society, you have to be strong. Irrespective, you have to be strong.
You agree?
Yeah.
That's my wife consoling me.
Men because I think because of our leadership role. And if you, the leader, in the moment of a challenge, will be showing despair, where is the ship going? So as the leader, you always have to stand up to maintain your composure in the midst of the storm. So you have to be strong.
I spoke to a man once who said that of all the problems he has, his wife is currently pregnant at the time. Of all the problems he has in his life, the most difficult for him is that his wife is pregnant and she likes the smell of public toilets. So when they wake up in the morning, he has to drive to Teshi, to a public toilet, and they will sit there and she just inhales the smell of the place. That was her pregnancy craving. And he was so livid, he said sometimes he felt that she was intentionally doing that to annoy him because she knew how much he hated it. And that sometimes when women are pregnant, they take advantage of the pregnancy to just worry their husbands. In the middle of the night, they want hot ice cream or something ridiculous like that. Did you ever feel that way?
In fact, to think that she's intentionally doing it, sometimes you think maybe it's in some of them. I think you guys you add something small to it. I think you guys add something small to it.
Why do you think that?
Because I remember when my wife was pregnant. I think the cravings moved from trimester to trimester. In the initial end, it was orange. Every day orange. Every day orange. When I'm coming from work, I'll buy the oranges. She'll finish that one before we go to bed. My landlady had an orange tree on the compound.
So you were climbing it?
We finished all the oranges on the tree. We moved from orange to sugarcane. You know, sugarcane, usually the fruit sellers don't sell sugarcane. It's not common. So sometimes when I'm driving, I find it in traffic.
You buy all.
Otherwise, I'll keep running in Accra. Maybe when I don't get it at that Shashi end, I'll go towards Medina. But if you enter East Legon, you're not getting it. So I will intentionally drive towards Zongo Junction. If I don't get it in Zongo Junction, I'm going to Ruiz. I'm coming to Ashambeche. I'll go to Ruiz. So I just have to find sugarcane. If you get home without sugarcane, you're on your own. The last trimester was apples. That one, I can easily get apple, walk in any shop and find apples to eat. So it does happen. At a point in time, she was craving for, I don't know how they call it. I don't think it has an English name. Ayilo.
Yeah. Clay.
I had to talk to her. Like, this one, dear, it's not good for you. It's not good for the baby. I had to talk. And if it rains immediately, you know, when it just...
The smell of the rain.
Thank you. You have to go outside. So she can just be smelling.
Inhale it.
Just inhaling that smell. So it happens. But we just have to know. For me, my dad prepped me towards those.
He told you?
Yes. So
Did you get any prep? No. Did anyone tell you what might happen?
No.
It just happened.
It just happened.
Were you ever shocked at anything she said or did?
Well, that's with one of her cravings. She liked a lot of fizzy drinks and pizza.
And she didn't like it before?
No. When we were dating. When I buy, she complains.
I have a friend who told me his wife says she craves the smell of fresh dollars.
That's a strange one.
That's a different level.
The smell of fresh dollars. She just likes to smell
Not
it.
fresh CD notes.
No. Fresh dollar bills. She likes to smell it. and so I get it when sometimes men say that they think that the women are adding things to it or maybe overreacting. But I can assure you we don't.
Maybe a little.
We really don't. No,
Maybe
I never had any cravings, so I don't know. But I don't think that a woman would intentionally want to make her man suffer.
You think so?
I don't think so. I don't think a woman would do that.
Really?
I also don't think they would intentionally.
Yeah.
Just that maybe sometimes
a little drama, a little attention. Just, to just spice it up a little.
Actually, mom is very dramatic.
But you guys, how are you able to sleep through the baby crying? I mean, a man and a woman will go to bed. They wake up in the morning and the man will be like, that was such a good night. The baby slept through the night. Meanwhile, the baby didn't sleep through the night. The baby was waking up the whole time. Mom was probably waking up most of the time to feed the baby. But you guys are able to sleep right through it.
You know what? For me,
Yeah.
when our son came, he refused to latch on the breast.
So you were bottle feeding?
Yes.
Okay.
Baby
So formula.
Formula.
Okay.
Every day. And for some reason, I feel like my wife has been around throughout the day. So in the night, I should help. So I'm the one that does the feeding anytime I'm home.
And you go to work during the day?
I go to work during the day.
So when do you sleep?
probably around 11, 12. Anytime he's awake, and he was eating a lot. So anytime you need to wake up, prepare. So we always have warm water in flask by the bed. Every time you have to mix it. And sometimes my wife is sleeping, I don't call her. So I do it all by myself.
Okay. Is that the same for you?
Me, I call.
Why? Why?
I get tired. I get tired. You know, I mean, we used to argue over that thing that, you know, she goes through the whole day and she's
tired.
She's tired and all. When I was like, at least when the baby sleeps, she also sleep. I am up the whole day, you know. So at least when I come home, at least, you know, let me just get a little bit of rest. And, you know, in the beginning, like this, like in the stages, the early stages, like every 1 hour, baby is crying. Every 1 hour, the baby is crying. Every 1 hour, you know. And it got to a time she was like, you know, she's tired of breastfeeding, so we have to start using the formula. And the doctor was like, we shouldn't do it. She even started the formula for, I think, for 6 months. Yeah, because she was tired.
She was tired.
Yeah, she was tired. So.
And when the baby wakes up in the middle of the night, you would wake her up to feed the baby?
Sometimes, you know, I'm not a deep sleeper.
Okay,
so sometimes,
you would hear the
yes. Baby. Or if I decide that I just want to, you know, not mind, she will wake me up and go like, yow, yebi, you know, like do some, you know. So, I mean, it was there. At the point, I didn't really want to have a second child. You know, I didn't want to. I really didn't want to. I remember she used to come and go like, you know, she wants to have a second child. You know, she's not growing any younger. I was like, listen, take your time. No pressure, you know. But we still went ahead and we had a second child. And I was like, that was it.
And when the second child came, did you feel like you were better prepared? So
yeah, I was.
You were able to manage it better?
Yeah, I was. I mean, I got to know about her, you know, that like the injection that she doesn't like. So now when I go to the hospital with her, I keep my cool, you know. And I remember the first child when I went into the surgery, the theater, and I ran out.
Why?
Hey, what I saw.
What did you see?
The curtain. You know, she did CS. So I was standing and I was watching. It got to a point that they had to like use their hands to like tear her open. And
yeah.
I ran out of the theater. So the doctor came and was like, what's wrong with me? I was like, I couldn't stand. I nearly like passed out. But for the second one, I mean, I became a bit, I read more and all that. So I stood through the whole thing, you know. And yeah, the second child came and everything was fine, you know.
You nearly passed out?
I nearly passed out.
But you didn't though?
No, I left. I left.
Did you know from the beginning that you're going to be in the theater?
No.
Okay. Did your wife have CS or vaginal delivery?
Vaginal delivery.
Were you in the room?
Yeah, I was there.
How was it?
Yeah, it was fascinating.
It was fascinating.
Yeah, very.
I see. Were you at her head or on the other side?
The other side, I'll say everything.
Okay, you're very brave. So, how did you feel?
It's amazing to see a human being come out of another. It's amazing.
Okay, so I have a friend who told me that, well, he was in the labor ward with his wife, and he watched the whole thing happen. And after that, he sort of desexualized his wife.
Yeah, I had the same thing.
What happened?
I had the same thing. After that incident, it was difficult for me to get intimate with her. I feel like maybe she's hurt. She has not healed properly. Even though she kept telling me, it's fine, she's fine, but it took some time.
So my friend told me it took him 2 years.
No.
2 long years, because at first, he just desexualized her. He just saw her as someone who needed help. Like, she's hurt. Like,
yeah.
He was constantly trying to help her. Yes, they could have sex, but in his mind, even while they had sex, he still felt like he was doing something wrong. Like, this is not okay. But after 2 years, he totally got over it, and then he moved on.
I didn't get up to 2 years. For me, I always had my dad by my side. So anything
bless your dad.
Yes, I share with him. I share with him everything that he prayers me, talks to me throughout.
Okay.
And whatever he says, I take it as such.
Okay.
So I was fine. After, I was fine.
But, well, that's very brave of you. If your wife had a vaginal birth, would you have been in the room?
Yes.
Okay, you were prepared for that.
I wasn't, but I like those things.
You like what things?
Like, you know, being adventurous, you know.
But you couldn't watch a C-section.
You know, actually, I was watching everything when they took the blade or the knife, they did, you know, and it's like the way they touched, you know, I got to a point that the doctor just
open her up.
And I just ran out of it. I was like, so what I told my friend, listen, you have to respect women. You know, that's what I told my friend, you have to respect women, because what I saw, it was crazy.
So a lot of women say that after they have a baby, they expect their husbands to give them something. It's called a push present. Now, this is something that I heard about among my circle of friends a long time ago. Even in our very traditional settings, some men will buy goat or cloth or something for their wives. But nowadays, we don't want the goats and the cloth. They're well, you want dollar cakes. Oh, well, you can go buy the garage and buy a vehicle. Well, that's a joke. So, or not. But did you do that?
I think we spoke about something like that, but she said that I'm a specialist in light soup, so I should go and buy fresh fowl and prepare light soup for her before she comes home. Okay. So I prepared the food down before I went to the hospital
to bring her home.
Well, and saved her.
Did you?
So that's what she asked.
I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No.
Oh, then you didn't.
No, but then it's like whatever you want, I'll just have to get it for you.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's not like maybe giving her some sort of present.
Specific thing. Okay, the men are here and we're talking. You're watching We Got This Africa. We'll be right back.
We got this. We got this.
One thing we often hear is that men have to be strong. Bema, they will say we need ding, bema insu, or and things like that. Now, when a baby arrives, it changes a lot of things, and among other things, a man is expected to be strong all the time. My question is this requirement, this social requirement, did it affect you in any way, mentally, in terms of how you go about your life, deliver at work, and so on?
Certainly. Because you are human and you have all these stresses coming to you. And mind you, when the baby arrives and we are going through all the stresses at home, it's as if work is on suspension. All the stresses at work are also there. So you take from work everything, then you walk home, then you continue at home. So constantly we are exposed to stresses everywhere. So when we get home, I think ladies can also be a bit considerate on that. You see, even just talking about it makes me know, you acknowledge my roles or whatever I'm going through. You might not be able to do anything to assist or help about it, but talking about it makes me know, okay, this person thinks about me, this person cares about me. So I think we need to find a way around it. If there could be, Ghana, we don't take mental health seriously. Mm-hmm. We don't care about it. If there is a way we can consciously make steps to, because this thing affects our relationships everywhere. There was a time I was telling my wife that please, my work people, however I relate with them, depends on you. Whichever mode you set me on, when I take it to it. So sometimes when I get to work and they say, Nina hasn't done well. But my work, that would be remarks from my work colleagues. So I think it's very important. We need to pay attention to them as well.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he said it all. Yes. Like he said, mental health needs to be taken seriously. After the stress, it's there. And in as much as you have to be strong, I think like the women also have to understand us, they need to show a little bit of care, like he said, let's talk about it, Sometimes it's nice when you come up and go, like, is everything okay? Is anything bothering you? We might feel like we want to be strong, but when that comes, we hide our more of like our feelings, If you ask that question, it's like we go like, okay, she really cares, At least you can open up, because if not, like he said again, it affects everything around you, everything around you. And they need to be more understanding. They really need to be more understanding.
I'm so glad you guys came on the show today. Thank you so much. I'm sure it must have been a difficult decision to make. I will tell you, I spoke to about 15 men, And of the 15, so I spoke to 17 men. And you guys are the only 2 that agreed to come. So thank you so much for coming. And I hope that this conversation starts a series of conversations about men. And the fact that, you know, we expect them to be so strong and all of that, but they're human beings too with feelings. And women need care, men need care too, especially when the baby comes. Shall I ask you to give us your final words to the camera, to each camera, directly to, I don't know, men or women, in respect of how we handle our lives when babies arrive? So that's your camera.
Okay. So I'll talk to the men.
Okay.
To know that when baby comes, it's a responsibility for both. Mothers will take a big chunk of it. But anytime we are home, let's make our presence be felt. For me, I started bathing my baby from about 3 weeks when her mom has to travel somewhere. My wife said she couldn't do it. Me being a village boy, watch how it's been done. I've started doing it, and I'm still bathing. And that makes him more attached to me. So I think anytime we are home, let's make our presence be felt. Thank you.
Thank you, Gigi. Yeah.
So to the women, they need to, you know, also understand the men, you know, I mean, in times of after birth and all that, you know, I mean, they need to talk more. We have to have more discussions. And I mean, when there's anything worrying them, they also need to, you know, raise it, I mean, speak about it. Don't keep it in you and think that the man is expected to know what is going on and all those things, you know. Sometimes if you don't read about it, you're not able to understand what she's going through. So I think they should also give us that sort of room to, you know, to talk about things.
Thank you, Yao. Thank you, Gigi. And thank you so much for watching today's episode on We Got This Africa. My name is Na Ashoko. I'll catch you same time next time. Bye-bye.
We got this.
We Got This Africa is an April Communications production, proudly brought to you by Fritol. Fritol, you deserve a life of goodness.